Hello and welcome to another episode of An Interview With. I am Brent McCall with Metra Home Theater Group, and today with me is Jeff Boccaccio from DPL Labs.
Good to be here again.
Now, DPL Labs, Jeff and I go back together for a lot of years. In fact, we did our original What is DPL Labs All About video, I think, almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's about that time.
So a lot has changed. So what I want to find out is what's going on with you, DPL Labs, HDMI, and where you guys going for tomorrow.
Well, that's a big one because things have changed so much over the course of the last 10 years. Many revisions, and every revision, of course, takes a change. Every time there's a revision, there's more issues that are developed that we have to find out what they're from case studies, and then design test parameters and test systems that we can detect those problems before they get out in the field. So it's always a challenge to get that done. And we do that, with association with all the members, and Metra is a big part of that. And we learn a lot, and so do the members. I mean, I think that probably one of the greatest thing is to see is when you get someone like a Metra who throws themselves into it, and they really want to know the real facts about what's going on with the interface. And we do too, and we love to talk about it. So yeah, it's always been a new thing. When 4K came out under Rev 2.0, that was a big one because there was a few little bumps in the road of that one, and those bumps still continue today, as you know, and getting more into actives, and then of course fiber now is big, and we're dealing with not only fibers that are direct fibers, we call them direct AOCs. So you have an AOC which is fiber, and it's hybrid with copper in it also. And those are very direct, they're straightforward. But then we have new wave division multiplex products that are now coming out where they're coming out with just a single fiber where they're multiplexing all the data on that one channel. So now you've got to have different sets of hardware that can operate with these systems. And that's always another challenge. So test equipment, Brent, has always been a challenge where We've revamped test equipment now 5 times.
I say, last time you and I did this video, 3D had not even been released.
Yeah,
so it's been, we were probably at the beginning of 1.4, maybe 1.3 when you and I did our last one. So lots changed.
A lot has changed, and
including your office location.
And we've moved 3 times, and now we're at our current facility, which of course you guys know about, and the equipment struggle continues. Now we have 2.1. And we have found that over the course of time, we have discovered so many things about the interface, so many things that are really not covered in the test specifications. I mean, real things, life things that happens out there in the field, and we have to be sure that a DPL is a very different testing process because we're testing for the ultimate. We're testing for we want these things to work. If they can work underwater, we'll do that, right? I mean, we do everything we possibly can to make sure that these products work, but we need newer test results and test results that are not standardized, and that's what happens. You get into this rut where you get into these testing organizations that test HDMI and other things, and they get into this rut. Well, they have to they got to buy this equipment with this kind of software, and if you do that and you push that button, it's supposed to give you this, and we're not looking for that answer. We're not looking for just supposed to give us a yes or a no. We want to look at an answer saying, how many times, Brent, right, have you called me and asked me how the test went? And I said, well, it's better.
Well, and that's one of the nice things as a manufacturer dealing with DPL. I don't get a pass or fail, I get a report.
Yeah, we talk about
Here's what happened, and here's where you need to look at resolving issues. And let's face it, very, very, very seldomly does anything pass the first time.
Well, but when they do, this is one of the
moment of celebration.
This is one of the things that you do so well, Brent, and that is that when they do pass, Brent wants to know, can I get it better? I can say, well, it passed. I want it better.
And not just did it pass,
and so
why?
Yeah, why did it pass? And how do we make it better? And that's what DPL does. We do that for all of our accounts. If the account wants to know, we'll tell them. You know, we have a report that goes out. We have a one-on-one on each report for each client, and we explain to them exactly what they've got. We tell them where they are, not necessarily just pass or fail, but we tell them where they are. You're pretty close, you know, it'd be nice if you're a little bit higher, or you know, under certain modes you're too high. You know, this is what the equalization saturation problem. So there's all kinds of different reasons for that. But one of the beauties is that when you get an organization that becomes a DPL member, and like in Metra's case, where they take advantage of it, and we want them to. We want them to take advantage of it. Go and ask the questions that they need to be asked, and know about what the products are. You know, and how many times do we detail that out, right? I mean, we are on the horn all the time. And
to the point that I'm sure Sandy doesn't. Oh, it's Brent again.
Yes, Sandra Lee knows Brent real well. That's true. And it's because we're so close in proximity to. This is another rare thing. We have a few other accounts that are in the Florida area, but in Metra's case, they're relatively close. Then of course we got the people, you know, in the Far East, and we have the people in Europe, and we have the people in the rest of the country. So they don't get a chance to see us that much. But you know what? Today with Skype and GoToMeeting and many different ways of doing interaction like that, there's no reason why we can't talk about it. And some people do, and some people just say, no, I got the mark, I don't care. And they go with it.
That's not me.
You know, and that's my point. It gives those manufacturers the opportunity to become better if they want to.
Now, and let's talk about getting better, because in a recent episode you dropped by from Metra Home Tech Tips, and we discussed CTS or lack thereof, and since this is canned, we don't know if today it's there or not.
Yes.
But based on history, I'm going to say we still don't have a CTS, and if we do, we'll put it on a banner on the bottom.
That's right. That's right.
DPL, however, I believe is not going to wait. You guys are going to go ahead and create
we're not going to wait.
a test that's probably better and more reliable.
Well, we actually got to a level where we've gone so far off the path from what HDMI does in their testing process. We're so far abstract from what they do, the test equipment people can't even keep up with what we want. So
that's why you're never home.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But now we're customizing test equipment for us. We have companies that are willing to work with us on customizing these products, so that now when we do our testing, we don't have to take a product, modify it to do a test that we found in the field that didn't work, but they didn't test that particular attribute, right? Now we'll have this equipment that's far better. I give you an idea. Typically, we want to typically double the data rate when you do it. So if we're operating at 12 gigs, that would mean that our input stage per channel would have to be 24 gigs, right? And the new one that we're getting is 100 gigs per channel. So we'll be at 400 gigabits of throughput of analyzing. Testable throughput, right? And which is going to make it wonderful for us, because A, it's going to last us for a long, long time. Excuse me. And B, it's completely customized, right from the way it looks to the GUI that you operate it with. And it makes it easier, and also it gives us now better reporting, allows us to make it faster, because this new testing for HDMI requires more time. So of course more time is going to cost more money to get it tested.
Right, because there's a whole lot more tests per channel, per cable.
Well, you know, right now a typical eye pattern test, if you want to just test it with that and skew and stuff, you're talking probably, you know, let's say it's 15 minutes to do it by the time you finish it up. Well, there's 3 of those right now. There's 3 of those right now. So I mean, that's 45 minutes.
D0, D1, D2.
Yeah, that's 45 minutes. Isn't it? Well, since we know now that they're going to operate under 4 channels and the clock goes away, and they're going to embed that, we know there's going to be 4 channels. So now we've got to do it 4 times.
So at a bare minimum, an hour.
Bare minimum, an hour, just to do that section, right? But now we have equalization curves, and there's 8 of them.
Per channel.
Yeah. So you got to do 8 of those sweeps, and there's still another one in the source that was never there before.
So and that's 8 15-minute sweeps per channel by 4.
Yeah, you start adding it up, and by the time you're done, it's a long process just to test this thing, right? And we couldn't do that because the cost of this would be completely out of control. But with this new system we're building, it is completely automated, and it's fast. I mean, this thing will produce 4 channels of 12 gig eye patterns in less than 10 seconds.
Does it compare the channels time-wise?
It looks at them time-wise. You can do burn analysis. Everything
Wow.
we want. Everything we want.
Now,
So
I have a question because I was just thinking about what you're saying about the bandwidth capabilities, the per channel, 100 gig per channel. Does that lower the overall noise floor so that the results you get are more honest?
Not necessarily, no. What it does do is it gives us a much better detailed eye pattern, of course. I mean, we get a much better picture that way. And you know, to my eye, maybe it's better. To other people's eye, people wouldn't know. But the nice thing about it is that should we want, or they want to move forward and move further in, I don't really care.
You're already ready.
We have all the bandwidth we want. I mean,
I'm going to say, I have watched you through 3 or 4 different series of test gear
you've
already.
worked with them. You've worked with those pieces, absolutely.
So, it's expense, time, custom jigs, custom boards, custom cables.
When you get into the guys that really want to do the job for you, these customized guys, because we were mainstream before. We had all the mainstream guys. I'm not going to say who they are, but all the big players. There's about 4 or 5 of them. And they were okay, you know, but now you get into the real esoteric guys, the guys that really are hardcore. And what's nice about them is they're interested in it. They want to get involved. They're willing to put the time in. And you just get a better product at the end of the day. Not only in electronics, but also in the yield.
Now, you travel to the Far East frequently to hopefully improve the manufacturing process.
Right, we're working that too.
What do they do for testing versus what you will be doing with DPL?
What do they do currently?
Yes.
Yeah, they plug it in the monitors. So they're basically watching TV all day long. I mean, you've been there, you've seen that, right? I mean, it's really kind of a joke, you know, because you got these production lines and these kids are watching the same 30-second turnaround, you know, all day long.
Now, okay, not for nothing. I remember very, 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 very early on, the very first extender you built that you tested for us, which is the dual wire extender.
The Cat 5, you mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The 2 Cat 5 extenders. Testing then was a source, a TV,
that's right,
and some Cat 5 cables.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly what.
Now that was 12 years ago.
Yeah. But today it's a whole different game. You know,
or should be anyway.
Such high frequency response, and not only that, but you know, again, in the logical side of the equation in HDMI, which is static control, there's a lot going on now, a lot that never happened before. So you really need to break it down, and we're working. You know, I'm going to tell you, these manufacturers in China, they're coming to the table. I mean, we're going back there again to start visiting them, to maybe start building some customized testing for them. Nowhere near what we have, but enough for what they need.
What a good place to start.
Where they can actually, instead of looking at a monitor, they can actually view eyes. iPad is right there on the production line, which they could never do before. For not that much of an investment on monies they've already spent on, you know, some short-term investment.
Well, and the TVs just don't last over time, and the terminals wear out, and the cables wear out.
That's another joke, because they're smart enough. They don't use the terminals, right? They have a cable that comes out, and they take a piece of 2x4, and they clamp another one onto it, a female, and they start plugging into that. So now you got these other losses involved. Whatever they're doing, you know, I mean, we're not seeing any accurate measurements at all. But they try, they don't know, but you know, we've been there now so many times, and they trust us, and we go to their factories, and we see what they're doing, and they're welcoming it. They're welcoming learning more about the test operations of it. And now 3 years in a row now, we've been there doing formal presentations in front of the whole Wire and Cable Association in the Dongwon area. And, you know, it's great because we get 200 or 300 people in there. And we're there for, you know, 5 or 6 hours doing schools and workshops. And they're very into it. They love it. So
what's
positive.
next on the agenda for DPL?
The next thing we're going to do is we're gonna jump into 2.1. We're gonna.
Rumor was you guys were going to start looking at doing hardware, displays, and other devices.
We started doing that, we started looking into it. But it seemed like every time we got that far, at least for source products. So for source products, switchers, and that type of thing, we're going to probably move now heavily into that for 2.1. We'll probably will not do displays. It's just too much to get a TV set and bring it in
and set it up and take it down and move it around.
It's just too much, to do. But
since 85s are becoming so cheap, moving that around is going to be miserable.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I can remember in the very early days, it was a 32-inch Sharp that we used for testing.
Oh, remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And the PlayStation.
Yeah, the PlayStation. That's right. I remember in the small office there on the side. Yeah.
Yep.
And we thought that was good. When we were watching that cartoon. Remember that cartoon? Oh boy, I forgot after the penguin thing.
Oh, we watched a whole lot of Planet Earth.
Planet Earth. Yep, that's right. Right.
A lot of Planet
Happy
Earth.
Feet. It was Happy Feet. Right. We saw. Jesus.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Anything else I should ask you about this coming?
No, I think the biggest thing is that we are expanding, of course, with new equipment, and China is too. I mean, under our umbrella, we're going in there and we're getting up to a good level, so that at least by the time the product gets to us, it has a really good chance of making it.
So if it's a DPL certified product, it's getting even better with each iteration.
Yes. We'll eventually have factories that are set up to do that, and you'll know who they are through our website.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you again for joining us with an interview with. I'm Brent McCall. Today was Jeff Boccaccio from DPL Labs. Look forward to seeing you again on our next episode. Thank you.
See ya.